There was once a man who fed the world his warmth, and the world ate without gratitude. He moved through his years believing that sincerity would shield him, that the honest man would eventually be recognized among thieves, that patience was a kind of quiet courage. He was wrong. He was not protected by his goodness. He was marked by it. The world did not see a virtuous man. It saw an open wound, and it came with its mouth open. They did not attack him with hostility. They attacked him with familiarity. They learned the timing of his apologies, the geography of his guilt, the specific pressure points that made him fold without a fight. They did not need weapons. They needed patience, and they had it, because he kept handing them time. Every act of forgiveness he offered was treated as a license to return worse. Every silence he chose for the sake of peace was catalogued as permission. Every door he left open out of love became a corridor for the shameless to walk through without knocking. He was not defeated. He was harvested, slowly, cleanly, by people who wore the face of need. Then something in him fractured, not collapsed, fractured. The way a dam does not disappear but simply stops holding. And in the cold clarity of that fracture, he understood what Machiavelli had buried inside every sentence of his work, the thing polite society never wanted spoken aloud. Goodness without power is not virtue, it is prey. Machiavelli was not a guide for monsters. He was a survival manual for those trapped among them. He understood that the world does not measure your soul before it decides how to treat you. It measures your edges. It measures what happens when it crosses you. It asks one question of every person it encounters, and the question is not, "Are you kind?" The question is, "What does defiance cost me?" If the answer is nothing, they will defy you endlessly. The man understood this, and he did not weep. He studied. He looked at every person who had taken from him and recognized a pattern he had spent years refusing to name. They were not confused about his pain. They were comfortable with it. There is a category of people who do not misunderstand you. They understand you perfectly, and that understanding is precisely why they exploit you. They know your mercy is reflexive. They know your loyalty does not require reciprocation. They know your love has no exit clause, and they have built their entire relationship with you on that knowledge. Let that truth land where it needs to land. The first discipline of the awakened mind is this: never mistake your capacity for goodness as evidence that others share it. Compassion is a faculty, not a universal language. Some people receive your openness and feel respect. Others receive it and feel opportunity. You cannot tell the difference by looking at their faces. You can only tell by watching what they do when you give them access to something that costs you. The world does not punish cruelty as cleanly as it punishes predictability. A man who always forgives becomes a man whose injuries have no consequences. A heart with no gate becomes communal property. Everyone enters, everyone spends, everyone leaves without closing the door behind them, and you rebuild alone, quietly, convinced that your resilience is spiritual, when it is actually just efficiency for their carelessness. The second discipline is colder and more necessary. You must allow people to inherit the full weight of what they chose. Not revenge. Revenge is an emotion wearing a strategy's clothing. What is needed is consequence, structured, silent, and absolute. Consequence does not explain itself. Consequence does not ask for an audience. Consequence simply closes the door and does not reopen it. And in that closing, teaches what 1,000 conversations could not. The people who have consumed your softness will not mourn losing it until it is gone. They do not fear the hand that always extends. They fear the hand that finally closes. Make them fear the closing. There was a time you carried your own suffering like evidence, presenting your wounds to the people who caused them, hoping that proof of pain would generate guilt, and guilt would generate change. It generated neither. Pain without boundaries is not a plea, it is entertainment. Vulnerability without gates is not intimacy, it is exposure. The third discipline demands this. Stop translating your interior life for people who came not to understand, but to consume. Your rage is not a negotiating tool. Your grief is not a bridge. Your love, offered without conditions to people without conscience, is not generosity. It is self-destruction, wearing the mask of virtue. The fourth discipline breaks something in those who accept it. Silence is a weapon when it is deliberate. The reactive person spills everything they know in the first 30 seconds of conflict. The disciplined person reveals nothing. Manipulators cannot calibrate to what they cannot read. Chaos agents cannot perform without the explosion they provoked. When you become still, when you answer provocation with nothing but measured calm, you remove from them the confirmation that they still occupy space inside your psychology. And that terrifies them, because control requires a reaction, and you are no longer reacting. The fifth discipline is the one that costs the most and frees the most. Your peace must outrank your reputation. Let them revise the story. Let them tell everyone you became cold, difficult, unreachable. A person addicted to being understood correctly will be owned by every person willing to misrepresent them. You do not need their courtroom. You need your own judgment, restored and uncompromised. This is where the old architecture of yourself comes down. The version that waited for an apology that was never coming. The version that confused being needed with being valued. The version that called its own surrender love. That version was not innocent. It was uninstructed, and the world charges high tuition for that particular lesson. Machiavelli does not invite you into darkness. He invites you into precision. He tells you that the world responds to structure, that mercy must be governed by intelligence, that power is not evil, but that its absence in the hands of the good man is catastrophic. So become catastrophic to those who deserve it. Withdraw from what diminishes you. Convert pain into data. Convert betrayal into a taxonomy of who people actually are. Turn your silence into an architecture they cannot dismantle. Become the kind of person whose absence costs more than their presence ever did. The final discipline, the one that closes everything. Become impossible to own. Not hollow, not bitter, not closed. Impossible to own. Feel without being governed by feeling. Love without loving beneath yourself. Forgive on your terms, not theirs, and never return the same knife to the same hand twice. The storm has learned discipline now. The kindness has gates. The silence carries mass. And the soul that once begged for permission to protect itself, has stopped asking. It already knows the answer.